Welcome to Twin Set. I don't know about that name, by the way.
Oh, do you not? I thought
Well,
it was because the whole thing, it's like box set.
yeah, but I found there are some like sexy twins doing sort of style stuff that are called Twin Set, and I was like,
Oh,
it's gone. But I think it's all right.
I actually had a look at so on the comments on YouTube, because obviously
Mm,
we've got our so many people are watching this.
mate, more than
Um
10, more than 10 views.
but like two comments, and it was from they were from people who were saying, it said something like looks good or this makes me happy, and the pictures look to be of naked ladies.
Oh,
So I
just
don't
like bots, absolute bots, yeah. But
know.
we're gonna keep going. We thought we'd go a bit more. We uh, we thought we'd do. I don't know, just try and invest in it more because we've just gone into, as of Thursday last week. We're filming this on Saturday morning. I forgot what day it was then. We've gone into lockdown 2.0. Boris has announced. So yeah, we want to try. I'm thinking I want to fill my time with editing um, and other stuff, but this one doesn't feel quite as bad. I don't know how you
I think
feel.
it feels less daunting. So I don't know so to be honest, I think Manchester has been under quite strict measures since August, really. And I mean,
Hmm.
restaurants and stuff have been open, so you've been able to go, and I think people have been able to play a bit more like casual with the rules. But to be honest, I don't think it's a huge change from what it's not. I think some places have gone from being, for instance, in tier 1 to all of a sudden going into this full lockdown, whereas
Mm.
Manchester and stuff have gone. But anyway, and I think as well, knowing in my head, and this is what's sort of getting me through it, is it's until the 2nd of December, and the fact that end date's been emphasized. We
Oh,
don't know
I
what's
hope
going to happen after
so.
that,
I
but
don't fully believe that because they've extended furlough till March, so it's like,
oh
oh.
yeah, they
But
have,
I
haven't
mean, I've
they?
heard people talk about they think, and this sounds quite, I don't know, that it's possibly just going to be rolling lockdowns until maybe spring next
Mm.
year. So maybe for December they'll lift us out of it because they don't want people to be illegally traveling for Christmas, if you know what
I don't think they want to be like, I think it's like there's a sense of not wanting to be the government that stops people from Christmas. Like,
Cromwell.
yeah,
I keep
I
comparing it to Cromwell.
keep doing that, and people are a bit like,
Yeah, I keep saying to mine
I
like,
think
oh,
it's like a real.
brilliant.
That's like my main association with Oliver Cromwell, as he cancelled Christmas.
Yeah, didn't he like ban pantos? Maybe that's a horrible histories bit, but something
Uh,
like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I guess there has been quite a nice distraction for the last week. I don't know when I get this out, I don't know what's going to have happened, although I think we kind of know what's happened, but I might be like, this might be like really depressing if you watch it and everything's changed. But the election has been going on since when was it that it would like the results? Was it
So the
Monday
election
night?
day, the election day was Tuesday, the 3rd of
Yeah.
November. And so it's been going on since, like, so obviously time difference stuff. I sort of woke up on Wednesday morning thinking, oh well, no, and it's, what are we, Saturday now, and it's still it's still going.
Counting.
And I'm like, that Guardian the map that the Guardian have, where you can zoom in and like see, I'm addicted to and I keep going on. So I think the ones I keep checking are Pennsylvania,
Mm.
Nevada, and then Georgia. Like, what's happened in Georgia is mad, because
It's just turned blue, hasn't it? It's
so yeah, so I was looking at thinking, right, that's going, that's a Republican, that's going to be a Republican state, and like, however, so 16 electoral college votes, but no, that's like completely changed, and apparently 99% of votes counted. Joe Biden is 0.1% ahead of Donald Trump, with literally, like, I think, oh my, yeah, he's 4,020. He has 4,020 more votes than Donald Trump.
so tight. It
So
still feels really tight. Like I
it
know
is,
it's
yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I think as well, it's really, it's there's almost something that's really disappointing about the fact it's still so neck and neck.
yeah. I was watching the coverage last night on. I've been watching like BBC and CNN, just like different ones, and most people. Well, I think everyone's talking now as if like Biden and Harris they've won. It's like it's done now. They're not officially announcing it because, although it's on the BBC, they kept saying, "Is it true? Is it true that they've put the champagne on ice?" And it's like, what? And this like reporter was just going like, well, I wouldn't wish to comment on that. They might have put the champagne on ice, but it was really
weird.
odd.
Like, I've so to be honest, I've not really been watching any like of the coverage like on like, what do you call, like, what type of media is it, like main so basically
like
I've been
BBC,
like
like
BBC
all
or
of that,
CNN, or like that coverage there. So I've been like checking it, that the Guardian map I'm obsessed with.
I haven't
And
seen
like
that.
obviously, it's just it's really good because you can zoom into each state. To be honest, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm so confused that you need to have at least 270 electoral college votes to be president. But then when you like go into, and I assume that's based on like population as well. So it looks like, so the map looks really red in the middle, but so obviously like Texas and Oklahoma and then up right through to like North Dakota and South Dakota and stuff. So they're all like Republican. So it looks like it's taking up loads of the map, but I think because of like population density, that, so for instance, Texas has, that is loads actually. So Texas has 38 electoral college votes, but like, let's say for instance, okay, Wyoming is a good example. Wyoming only has 3, and it's it's like a biggish state because it's obviously like a lot of like, the population is very different compared to say to that of like, let's see what California has. California has 55 electoral college votes.
Yeah, I don't. So it does seem, I don't fully.
Yeah, but also was like, I think, to be honest, I was like, okay, I've wrapped my head around that. But then if you like break it down into the Senate and the House and stuff, and like the House of Representatives, like I think American politics is really confusing. Like the way their election system is really, I find it a bit bizarre.
Well, because then they said that like they've what, like, well, fingers crossed. I know it's not, but like it's Democrats have won, but like is it the Senate or whatever? Like that will be mainly Republicans.
Yeah,
still. So like, there's still a long way to.
So the issue is, because obviously the Senate, I say obviously, I like as if I really don't know what I'm talking about. The Senate, is my understanding of it, is this. So you have like the president, obviously, who will rate, I don't know, but the Senate make the decisions. So if you've got a Senate that's is like majority Republicans, Joe Biden will really struggle. Yeah, they'll really struggle. So apparently that's like where that is still an issue. But I feel like even having someone in, just not having Donald Trump there is
fucking
key.
Monster. What he's done this week with it's like, it's so dark that he's thought, I'm just going to say this and it's going to throw everything into turmoil just because I just can't see how. That was on BBC. They asked a Republican, some like dumb fucking young puppet, it seemed like someone who would have been in Veep, like pathetic guy, that like Republican guy. They were like, why so you've just seen the same press conference we saw where he's just like made baseless claims about fraud, like what do you think? And he was like, well, I think it's true what the president said, we should count all the illegal votes and we shouldn't count the illegal votes. And he was like, yeah, but you were watching the same thing as me, right? And he just wasn't. It's so frustrating how it's like, no, it's everyone can see what's going on. Like, it's not that. And also how's like, I just don't get the suing thing. I don't know. It's just
so is he suing? He's suing states that have flipped, or what's?
I think so. He's just anyone that he can sue. He seems to be suing his legal team, involving Rudy Giuliani and stuff. So.
Yeah, I just I can't, like, he's obviously not. It'll be really interesting to. I think in my head I'm like, this has been a kind of distraction, and because as well, I think at the beginning of the week I was thinking, this is just. I was like psyching up, being like, right, it's another 4 years of Donald Trump and stuff for as the president. And then it's sort of just turned, the tide is kind of turned, if you will, and it's looking more positive. So that's good. But then what's going to happen after? I don't know. It's 2020, what a year. Maybe Kanye West will come in at one.
Oh God, Kim Kardashian posted an I voted thing, and everyone was commenting like, "Did you vote for Kanye?" I think she was just deleted the post because it was like,
not worth the. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
well, talking of Trump and power and corruption,
and a bit of the media as well.
And,
It was a really poor segue, but I feel like the way
very much the media, because
it's the reporting on it and like his, because this is the other thing as well that I mean you could probably comment on this more as the, so you've been watching CNN and BBC. What's do there seem to be like do there seem to be any differences or anything in
I mean, yeah, in terms of like it being like the British way that stuff's reported on and everything, and from it being a different, but I wonder what it would have been like to watch like Fox.
Yes, I was just thinking that. What Fox, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we so this week we are going to talk about Succession. I didn't say this week, this episode, but whatever. Yeah, we're going to talk about Succession, which I watched at the beginning of lockdown. Well, I think I watched it in summer. I watched it after I watched Game of Thrones because Maddy had recommended it.
Yeah, I told you to watch it.
Yeah, and I loved it, and I tore through. It's 2 seasons so far. It's an HBO series, and I've seen people say it's like the best series of this year.
Oh, I think it might be up there with being just. It's really hard because obviously, like in terms of comparatively, like you can't necessarily compare. Like it's a thing in and of itself and stuff. But I think it's one of the best TV shows that's been made, like in the past decade, maybe for like. I mean, I know I've only been alive for over 2 decades now, but honestly, I think if you like looked at all sort of the big deal TV shows over the past like 20 years, I think Succession would be quite high up to the top.
Oh, it's got some really good ingredients. I was watching a thing today, just so I could like refresh before we came, and it was talking about how it's got so many different aspects to it because it's got, is it Jesse Armstrong is a writer on it, and that like they've brought sort of the comedy from like Peep Show and Veep with them, and then also they've got the sort of the like obviously the drama, the high drama, and there's lots of almost like biblical references in it, and it's very sort of high power, and then there's also the way it's shot is that sort of mockumentary style, like
it's got a touch of it, hasn't it? It's got it does like it. It's strange that because I was thinking, because that was how it was described to me. So my friend, a couple of my friends recommended it to me, and like selling it's like this. Honestly, it's so good. But it was sold to me as a comedy, and I watched it, and I definitely think the first series I watched, and I was like, there were a couple of laughs. I was like, it's definitely more like dramatic and kind of stressful,
like a black comedy drama, I would say.
But then I think, so I am really keen to rewatch, because I think I'd get more of the comedy from the first series now, because in this I thought the second series was hilarious. Like they're a bit, I mean we'll go into it, but like but yeah, I think it's but
the dramatic moments are, because I think it is someone from Game of Thrones who did work on it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so, either a director or something. But yeah, so the drama I think is very like, it just makes you clench, doesn't it? It's really
it's so
stressful.
good. And I think as well, pulling you into things that are obviously so it's focusing on this is where we said our terminology is going to be out.
Yeah, we're not clever people.
Okay, so Waystar Roy, is it Waystar Royco, isn't it? It's the name.
Yeah, so the family of the Roy family, and they're basically, I mean, they're meant to be like the Murdoch dynasty sort of thing. It's meant to be like Rupert Murdoch. So it's the Roystar Waco is one of the companies, or I don't know if that's the overarching one, but they own theme parks, a movie company. They own news. So they own like in the show there's something that's like Fox News on it, I think, which is the one.
Yeah,
and then they have lots of other. So they're just a big sort of conglomerate that own a lot of stuff. So
it's the big it's like a media conglomerate, I think, as well. So Jesse Armstrong, I think, has been questioned, like, so many people are like, right, this is a Rupert Murdoch thing, isn't it? Because I think prior to Succession he wrote a script for a film. I don't know if anything was like came of it, maybe it did, about Rupert Murdoch, and I think it was called Murdoch. Okay, right. So he wrote a screenplay. Yes, and it's not been made yet. So but I think off the back of this screenplay he then did this, and people thought it was Nick. And I do think there are definitely elements of definitely, of course, like of Rupert Murdoch, because it's being such like that, the Murdoch dynasty being a very like, if you think like who owns me or the media, or like who owns it, like you think Rupert Murdoch, don't you? But I think he like was emphasizing as well, no, it's pulling in all these different families, and basically I think it exposed like, yeah, because obviously
sort of power and corruption and how it affects, because I think there's probably a lot of sort of Trump family shit in there as
right,
well.
exactly, just
it's
like I think powerful families who, yeah, in it being confined, so emphasizing how like so much power and wealth is confined within this like tight-knit group of people, and it's and that isn't like that, the like, so like elitism is like rooted in the fact that it's a club you can't get into, and if it's a family, like you can't, like that.
Yeah.
I think it just emphasizes it. I sound really stupid, I think, but in my head it makes sense.
No, it does it, because it does it really well, because I think we were talking about this before, because I wasn't, someone said that they thought they thought instantly, and overall they just thought the characters were unlikable, which I can see as a view. But I was thinking about this, and I remember the first episode, yes, they're unlikable, because I remember it's where it's his birthday, they go in 3 separate helicopters to go just play baseball or something.
Yeah.
And you've got, you just, every member of the family, there's something about them that you think, because I think Siobhan comes off as quite smarmy.
This is the Siobhan, is the daughter.
Daughter, and the daughter's the daughter's fiance, or he might just be boyfriend at this point, is desperately trying to get an amazing present to impress him. And then you've got you've seen Kendall, it's Kendall, isn't it? You've seen him attempt to take over a company and kind of be all like business macho, but kind of fail. And you think he's
terrible at it. Like he's just not. Yeah,
yeah. And then you have Roman, who he's just
a bit of a kind of like a.
Well, he gives that kid the check, doesn't he? He says to this kid, he writes an enormous check on the baseball field and says, "If you hit this kid, you'll get this. Like, I'll give it to you if you've done it." And so he's like shaking and trying to do it, and he fails, and I think he tears up the check,
rips it up in front of him.
Yeah, and then you've got the older one, Connor.
Oh yeah,
just a fucking loser who's like basically paying his girlfriend to be his girlfriend. It's just
so dope. Like I say, if we do like a bit of a breakdown later on, or whatever, but I think so. We got to the end of the second series, and I was like, he is so underrated as a character. Like there's so much like his like presidential campaign as well. Like there's so much.
God, yeah.
Like you say, he's just like he is like it's like, and I think as well, what's interesting with him is, so he's the oldest, and he is like behaves like the youngest, because he's always like, "Oh, Dad, can I have a bit more money?"
Yeah. Whereas previous marriage, isn't he?
Yes. So I think so he's like the half sibling of of Kendall, Shiv, and Roman.
I think me and Mike were saying he's like Prince. Who's the loser in the royal family? Not the nonce. Prince Edward, the one who has the failing. He's had so many failed companies, and he just reminded me of that. I'm like, I feel like that would be what he was.
It's just, I think there's just a bit where he like, I don't know if it's at Shiv's wedding, but he just I think goes up to Logan. He's like, or if it's on the boat, and he goes up to Logan and says, "Dad, can I have like I think does he ask for like $1 million or something, or like close to?" Yeah. It's just, he's just like the oldest, but he's still like, he's the one in a way who's like, while the others are obviously still complete like 100% benefiting off like being part of this family, there's almost a sense, there's a bit more ambition with them, and like a bit of like they actually want to be involved, or like and want to be involved to like have power. But you wonder if with Connor he's less bothered about power in a way, but just like being able to have like the money that's like just come his way, and maybe emphasized by the fact that he's like, "Yeah, I'll run for president." Like that is like, as it is, that's like one of the most powerful positions in the world.
Yeah. Whereas the others have their own. Well, like Shiv she's like a political advisor, so that's someone who's against everything that
well, I think that I think Gil's supposed to be like a Bernie Sanders, isn't he?
I got that vibe, because he just so she's, but then they all, Roman and Kendall, they work, they want to be within like strong businessmen within it. Roman's a bit of a disaster, even though he's very cocky and sort of brash, and Kendall's just, he's just like, well, I almost think of him as the main character, because you see his sort of like his arc and everything. because spoilers ahead, but just the fact that at the end of series 1 he attempts so many takeovers in series 1,
and like
and then,
and yeah,
and at the end he goes for the big one, and then that thing happened where when when he kills so he goes out looking for drugs and drives off. This is at Shiv's wedding, which is in England, and then they end up driving off into a river, and this waiter who he's gone with to try find drugs dies. He then goes back as if nothing's happened, has a bath and tries, and it's just, yeah, and then in the morning it turns out they found his key card at the scene, and so Logan is kind of like, well, you're mine now again, mate, because I'm going to make this disappear. So he has such a weird sort of, and then season 2 he's a yes man for all of it, isn't he? And then
he's broken, isn't he? I feel like, because I think all of them, I think you do start to experience, like, in series 2 you definitely see more sort of character arcs developing, and like, but I think for sure series 1 Kendall is the focus, because I'm thinking now it's a lot of where a lot of more stuff happened, or like character developments happened, I do think was in series 2. But yeah, that moment when you think, it's weird, I think this is so obviously Kendall has done a horrible thing, like when he
foolish, it's like,
well, he's but he is a drug addict, like, and that's not to it, but yeah, I think why I do think the show's success, that's a terrible joke, please, does lie in the fact that, and I think this is a good, like, the case with a lot, like, and if we could like, I think to Peep Show you can align it with this in this sense, and loads of other things, to be honest, is that you it's watching something where people are horrible and like not good people, but it being written in a way where you can get the viewers to relate to those people. Like,
because they're born into it, so it's a bit, yeah.
But I think even though, like, even Peep Show, Mark and Jeremy are not good people, like, no. but they are so often I'm like, I'm like, oh, I am Mark Corrigan, like, I completely identify with his, not completely, but a lot of the time I identify with this, like, inner monologue. And I think this is the thing with Succession. They're bad people, like, they are power hungry, they don't really care about, like, the world, they care about how things can be done to benefit them and how they can, and so on and so on. But it's quite chilling to watch something in a way and identify with people, horrible people. I think it's at the foundation of what really good, like, television and film, I guess, maybe more so television, because you've got a longer period of time and to explore it. But yeah, that's, I really think that's where the crux of why it's so good, because they are abhorrent people, they are bad people, really, aren't they?
Pretty much.
But they are made human.
But then you also have, like, we haven't talked about it yet, you also have Tom and Greg and their sort of dynamic on the side of it. So Tom's Shiv's boyfriend, who wants to be, I think
he wants to be the successor. He wants to be,
basically,
that in his head he thinks it's being planned out for he'll marry Shiv, he'll be married into the family, and then he will be there posed ready to take over and be the new Logan Roy.
Yeah, and then you've got Greg, who's the is he the nephew?
Great nephew. So he's the grandson of Logan's brother, who is the farmer from Babe. I know that's probably
I always think of him as that.
I know that man is obviously a really established actor, because he's in loads of stuff, but whenever I see him, I'm like, farmer from Babe. It's like oh my goodness, I've forgotten her name, because I'm gonna call her Fiona Shaw.
Who's that?
Aunt Petunia. Aunt Petunia from Harry Potter. So whenever I see her in anything, she was in Killing Eve. She's in, like, she's like an established British actress, like, really.
Yeah, well, I probably know when I see her, but I'll probably think Aunt Petunia.
You will think Aunt Petunia, 100%. And that's me.
Yeah.
And whenever I see her in anything, I'm like, Aunt Petunia. It's the same with that guy, farmer from Babe.
Well, it's like the first, I say, like, oh yeah, Michael Caine's one of my favourite actors. The first Michael Caine movie I ever saw was Muppets Christmas Carol.
And isn't it one of the best?
Oh, it's so great. It's jolly.
I actually do think it might be one of them. I don't know if I'm saying this to the wrong person, but
yeah, then you've got Greg, and he's sort of like I don't know, I think that's in the first episode. I don't know if it's the opening bit actually, where he's a bit of a stoner. He's gone to the management program at Waystar Royco or something for the theme park. So he part of it for some reason he has to get in the suit and be a big animal,
like
Disney,
a mascot type of thing.
And the kids start jumping all over him, and because he's just smoked, he feels really sick and he starts puking and it's coming out this thing's eyes.
It's no, that actually, I think that first episode I thought, oh, that did make me laugh out loud. That was really good.
That was very funny. Yeah. So he kind of like, I don't know. I think he's sort of, you first of all, you do just think he doesn't know what he's doing. He just tends to try to be in the right place at the right time. But then towards the end with his relationship with Tom, he seems to get a bit wise and realise.
Oh, I think that they flip. I think so Greg almost is like representative of like, I'm sounding really like talking out my arse and like I'm
academic,
pretentious. But like I think he almost like comes in as like, in a sense, he's at the same level as we are, like as viewers to this, like in terms of like knowledge and like state, like where he is in life and stuff and blah blah blah. Just in terms of fact, he's not part of this like like he's not actually in on it anyway. No. So it comes in at that level, and the flip, it's almost a flip that happens. Like there's such a good scene. So I think a lot of it comes down to so at the beginning, am I right in thinking that Tom is he's in charge of the theme? He's like head of the theme park division or something.
Yes, he is, because that's where all the
yes, theme park and cruises.
Yeah,
and there was an issue that's like not really like disclosed at the time that's happened with cruises. So Tom says to Greg, "Can you like just need you to like do this for me?" Like just obviously putting him in it. And I think Greg kind of like not aware of it at that point, but then you find out later on he is, because he saved copies of these documents that Tom wanted him to destroy as like a self-preservation. And there's a scene, I don't think it might be, is it series 2 maybe, where Greg's like, "Oh, I'm blackmailing you," and it's it's so funny because Greg's such a funny, like they're both really funny characters, and it's that flip of Greg becoming like a bit more powerful in that relationship.
Yeah, because even the last episode where he does that weird trip where everyone's on the boat and he's kind of trying to claim he's trying to find the successor and everyone's kind of squabbling, but like Greg's there lying on the yacht going like, "Oh, I don't like this sparkling like rosé champagne, I don't like it." And you're like, so now he likes it, he's living the life.
He's totally into it now.
But Tom and it's really odd because Tom is quite he's bottom feeder is what you think when you think of Tom, even though I think he's hilarious.
Oh, like, yes.
Some of his like faces, but his and Shiv's relationship, you're just kind of like, I don't really see how it's happened.
It's kind of by the end of it, I think this is where I'm going with the character arcs coming in. So like Tom's like pretty dreadful that first series, and then like there's that really good episode when they have his bachelor party, and he says about he gets with, I don't want to be too graphic about what happens because
the blowjob.
Yes, and then
and then he's showing off about the fact she spits it back in his mouth.
And he was like, "Well, no, she spat it back in my mouth, so it stayed within the same cycle, so it's fine."
It's not cheating.
Yeah, not cheating because and then I think so. Yeah, it's kind of. But then in that second series, you sort of see, especially at the end on the because I think he really loves Shiv. I actually think he loves her.
Yeah, because she is quite. Because also, I don't think she's necessarily an awful. I don't see as much sort of horrible. I mean, she's a little bit too like. She's definitely wants to impress her father, and so she is like. There's a little bit too much ambition in her, in terms of why would she want to run. I always think it's odd. Why would you want to be? Because he basically kind of names her as the successor, although I think that was probably.
Complete tactic. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I kind of think like, you seem like you've got quite a lot of principle. Like you went to do the sort of political advising, and yet I feel like I'm confused why you want to take over, because it seems very oddly. I don't know. It just doesn't seem quite in line. But I guess she does kind of go through a change, and she's.
Well, my take. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, that was it.
I was going to say my take on Shiv is that so obviously she's this political advisor for the like I guess what would be the Democratic the Democrat candidate for whatever. And I almost think that's her doing like a teenager giving their parents the middle finger and saying, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah, because he stands out. He speaks against.
I think
Logan.
that's her. Like, I'm gonna do exactly what he doesn't want me to do, and then is given the opportunity of like, I want you to be my successor, and then I think she's like, yeah, brilliant. That's like, because I think it's really like, yeah, I actually think Shiv might be one of the worst ones.
Really? Because she doesn't seem to. Yeah, I think she's muddled more than worse. I think she's just seems very. But then also she does have it. You can see the gleam in it. This is what comes with power and corruption. But I remember that bit where she's in the kitchen with Tom and she's kind of talking about like, hey, so it might be happening soon. I'll be the successor. And then she like pulls him in because she like really fancies a fuck. Because I think she's getting off on like, I'm going to be really powerful. And he's kind of like, not really.
Oh, one of my other the Shiv and Greg. Why do I keep calling him Greg? Shiv and Tom bits that really makes me laugh is when they're on the boat and they're planning to have a threesome, and like they're talking about logistics of it, and Tom's like, "What about if the other person, goes in the other room and shuts the door and
locks the door, and then we're just out here doing it?" She's like, That's sad though, because she clearly is. I think she's got some. But that's why I don't think I think it's just it's easier than I don't straight away hate her because the way she talks about remember on her wedding night when she pretty much admits that she's been fucking that guy she works with, the political advisor guy, and then she kind of is like quite tearful, kind of being like, but I thought that was just kind of how this worked, like we might fuck other people, but that's how marriage works. And I think you think like, oh well, look at your family / father, like you're obviously messed up in that respect and you can't see the person who your father doesn't respect women, and that's
I think she's got more like I think she might be the one I understand the least. Wow. Actually, maybe Roman. I feel like Roman's like once again like another like funny character. Like some of the
I wouldn't like say I could understand it because he's like an absolute question mark, and then that shit happens with Jerry.
Oh, amazing. Such a good like plot point, whatever you want to call it. When it happened, I was just obsessed with it, and my flatmate started watching it, and so I'd already watched it, and I think it was when I was anyway, I won't bore you with the details of it. And I just he just sent a message through to me on WhatsApp, and it was literally just, and before I even opened it, I was like, you've sent me Jerry telling Roman off while he touched himself, like straight away, because it's such a good it's so believable as well, like it's been because you wouldn't see it coming, and then the way their relationship's been built up and developed, you're like, oh my god, absolutely, like that is so, it's brilliant, it's so good
because there's such a build up, because he has these girlfriends who there's this one the blonde one who sucks off Tom and then she spits back in his mouth.
Oh my gosh, that is her. I forgot that was who he ends up with.
Dating her, and then she says kind of like, well, you don't ever fuck me, and all of this stuff, and you think, oh, so he's got something different, a sexual thing, or there's something odd there. And I thought it was going to be something to do with like horrible childhood trauma, which I guess it could be.
Yeah, it could still be developing,
but it seems,
no, it's so he, like you said, I think he definitely is he's probably the one I understand the least, actually, of all of them, because I think Kendall, I know we've already sort of touched on him, but I think one, because I think the first series really like he does seem to be sort of the focus, I think, of like, because he's also like, oh yeah, it's going to go to Kendall, and that's how it's like been established. But yeah, understanding that he's obviously really struggles with a drug addiction, and like that sort of feeds into so it'd be interesting. I can't wait to do, so they're obviously making a series 3, but apparently it was in like was it in what's it called, you should know this because of the stuff you do, what's it called when you start like doing your filming, like something photography? There's like
principal photography.
Yeah,
I don't know what it means. I've heard it.
I think principal photography is just like when you start shooting, when you start filming something.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, no, I hope
That's
it
what I
does.
thought.
I
But
need
so
another
apparently they
season.
were like in that stage or they're back, but yeah, they obviously had to shut down because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
But it is happening. Like, it's far too, they can't. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, if they were going to do it, it means that a script's been written for series 3. I'm guessing, but
Everyone wants it as well. Like,
oh
it
yeah,
would
definitely.
do so well.
This is, I think it's something as well that could go on for, like, it's got longevity to it, doesn't it?
I reckon
Like,
6
development.
seasons it could do. It could do the Sopranos.
No.
5 or
Oh
6.
yeah. Oh, I did want to mention, because we were talking. I just want to say, when we were talking about Tom and Greg, but one of the best lines is, "You can't make a Tomlet without breaking a few Gregs."
Who says that?
Tom, when
That's
he's at
not
the you know, when they're at the is it the Supreme Court hearing?
Mm.
And
Oh
he says that, he
yeah.
goes, "You can't make a Tomlet without breaking a few Gregs," and it's just brilliant.
It's very good as well, the bit that, because I think we touched on it, but you know, the whole all the scandal with the cruises, basically it's quite almost like Me Too sort of stuff, but it's like it's definitely, it's like sexual assault, rape and murder, like all the bad things that have been done on this cruise, and that's the documents that they're destroying. So I think that felt quite relevant and like there's so much sort of relevant and current stuff, and it's nice they're making a show about it, that you're like, oh yeah, this is a really strange time, because that's the thing at the end where I think someone has to take the bullet for it. And that's why they're on that weird holiday where they're all sat around the table and everyone's saying who should take over and who should take the bullet. And so in the end it turns out to be, I think, well, in the end it's they send Kendall, don't they?
Kendall goes to Kendall is the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, but then when he shows up, he does a big bump and kind of throws Logan under the bus, but we don't know whether.
And Greg's there with the documents.
Yeah, but we don't. Yeah, we see he's there with the documents, but you don't see whether he. Yeah.
You don't know what, but I loved that. I think that bit, you know, when Logan sees it, he's just like.
He does that smile. Like,
and he doesn't go like I just did. He does like it's. Do you want to talk about Logan Roy?
Yeah, the main
man.
He's such a good. Is it Brian?
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox has got the same name as that.
Not Brian Cox, the physicist.
He's so
so good. Like such a
when he says fuck off.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. I think it's so he's obviously like the worst, I guess. I don't know though. Like now I'm saying that, I'm like, I think that's too basic to be like he's the most terrible. I mean, he is, I suppose, because he's the bad reason man for it all.
Well, come from does he come from Wales, or did he kind of like clawed his way to the top? I think
the idea is he's so I think they've made the character also hails from Dundee, I think, like Brian Cox does. Is it Dundee, or have I made that up? I think they go back to Scotland, don't they? Because anyway, and so I think the idea is that he's, because obviously the farmer from Babe isn't like the only reason the farmer from, which is interesting as well. So farmer from Babe, the actor does have a name and it's awful that I don't know.
Let's keep saying farmer from Babe. I want to say
farmer from Babe.
Yeah,
has shares, doesn't he? Because he came in and voted on, and he's obviously, he's got wealth as well, which, so I understand this wealth actually he's also benefited from Logan Roy's, like, from this empire. But that's the impression I got, as it's like been built from nothing, kind of. I don't know if that,
well, he's been ruthless to get it.
He's like been really like to get all this power and stuff.
But then he goes through, because he's in the first episode, he has his, what is it? Is it a stroke or something?
I think it's like a stroke or so. Yeah.
That's why the vote of no confidence happens. So he's quite so when that happens, it's weird, you're introduced to him when he's that vulnerable, and then you gradually kind of get to learn that he is just awful. Like he's violent. Like, do you remember when he hits that kid in the face with a pin?
It's his grandchild.
Yeah. Because he forgets,
because he forgets so like you said, no, that's so true actually. He's like this, he's really like vulnerable, and you think, right, he's on. I remember I was watching thinking, like, is this like a Game of Thrones jobby? Let's kill off the main one.
Yeah,
straight away.
Let's Sean Bean it, man.
Yeah, let's Sean Bean him. but yeah, really vulnerable, and then just like insistent on still being at the helm and like playing as children off of each other. Like, so that's why I think you're completely right. Like when he says, so when they're in that house in the, I don't know if it's in the Hamptons.
Is that for the
Hamptons that smell and is it the one that smells bad? Does this ring a bell?
Because there's like dead badgers in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they're in the Hamptons, I can't. Is that Hamptons?
No, there's an N. Hamptons.
I can't say Hamptons. So when they're in the Hamptons and he brings them all into the room to say does this, he's just playing them off of each other. He has no intention of giving it to Shiv. None at all.
Yeah, that does kind of break my heart a bit, because she's like, oh my god, this is literally the moment. Yeah, it's.
What do you make of the Helen Hunt character? Is it Helen Hunt?
Oh, and she's sort of.
It's not Helen. Is it Helen Hunt?
I'm pretty sure it's Helen Hunt.
I get Helen Hunt. It's the one from
Incredible.
No, Helen Hunt's from Mad About You. I get these.
Helen Hunter. No.
No, hold on. We're gonna find out.
Holly Hunt.
Holly Hunter.
Holly
It's
Hunter.
I get them. I always get them so mixed up. Holly Hunter is Elastigirl in The Incredibles, because she's got that really distinctive voice.
Yeah.
I'd sound like Sean Connery. Oh.
Oh, okay.
But that relationship's that's really interesting.
Yeah, because she's like, is she? I don't know if she's the head, but she's pretty high up in that. They want to buy this news outlet, which I don't know what it would be comparable to, but it's basically the left.
Yeah, the like left lean. Yeah,
opposite
the left
to Fox News.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of sort of uproar with like, you can't buy it all, Murdoch. I mean, Logan. So yeah, they kind of. Well, they almost have a. There's it's almost a romantic element to it there, but then at the end, doesn't she kind of realizes how ruthless she is, and she kind of says, I can't do this. Is that right? She's the
Holly
one who kind of
Hunter does.
leaves. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna find out which character she plays. I'm so sorry. Our research is shocking.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, no, so the impression, if I remember it correctly, there's definitely, I think there is like a romantic element to her, and I think they do like have like a physical rendezvous, but then I think at the end she's like a bit, she's kind of like horrified by how, I think she's drawn in by his charisma, like there's the charisma that she's like sees him having and stuff, and then it's and then I think she like bails, doesn't she? Because she's like, he's actually
that whole do you remember that bore on the floor bit?
Oh, that was the thing I was going to mention. That bore on the floor made me laugh out loud, but it was also horrifying. Like, I think it really emphasized, or like or not emphasized, but it like was the epitome of how the show like does this balance between like being really funny but also like really dramatic and horrible. Do you not think? Because I thought it was hilarious,
bit
but
like
it's also
repulsive, because they were like sitting on the floor eating sausages. Basically, he's going around the table and trying to say like, so which one of you was with me or against me when I did this? I'm going to weasel you out. And it's like a corporate retreat, but it just turns into like the fucking horrible sort of frat acts. It goes around the table, and so some of them I think I can't remember the names of his like more senior advisors, but one of them says like, oh, well, I was with you all the way, and he's like, don't fucking believe you, bore on the floor. I think it's the other one who has hair as opposed to Frank.
Oh, right, okay.
But he sends him off and goes like, bore on the floor, and then Jerry, she kind of goes like, I've actually had some doubts, and he's like, you told the truth, you're safe. And then when Greg stands up, he goes, yeah, I've had some doubts too. And he went, you doubted me?
I know.
And he's like, no, but I thought the rule was for telling it. And so, and then basically I don't even know what the game is, but he's going like, oink for your sausages.
Yeah. And they actually get, and I think.
And they do.
Yeah.
It's really
but then
grim.
It's hot. It's like brutal, but also it's like, it really made me laugh. I like as well when Tom comes down the next day, because he's been bored on the floor as well, so like and he's one of the like he's crawling around like trying to get a sausage, like he gets really like this, it's showing us how desperate he wants to be like part of
yeah.
this. But he comes down the next morning, like, and he's like, oh yeah, I can't remember last night. It's such a blur. I guess I drank too much. Like trying to like act like it's really good.
It's really grim. Actually, that's almost a bit Peep Show levels.
Yeah, it's this. I do think. I really think you can tell it's been written by. I really think you can see the links, like between, like the fact they're completely different shows, obviously, but yeah, I think you can definitely see that there's like a shared writer and like a developer, if you will.
Comedy through unbearable, uncomfortable sort of situations. Like, so I'm trying to think of others that are like that. And, oh no, this isn't funny, but I remember that a bit that really kind of shocked me. You know, when he just randomly hits Roman, like after a conference where they've had to make a comment on these sort of Me Too-ish allegations. So they're on the stage and Shiv has just kind of said like, well, I think we've got to get rid of these dinosaurs and shape stuff up because I think she thinks she might still be in line. And then when they come out, I think it's Logan's wife, I can't remember her name.
Oh, Marsha.
French or something, yeah. She goes like, it's too far, Shiv, too far. And he's like Logan's really upset by it. And like obviously Roman as per is just like kind of babbling and just kind of like, yeah, you know, like in his all like the Culkin way. And then Logan just turns around really like and just goes like, and just like slaps him around the face. I think he actually does like bleep, but then later on in the car they like, or in another bit they're talking about it in the car and he's saying like, I'm sorry, I did that by mistake, obviously. And Roman's like, oh no, I didn't even notice it, sort of thing. And that makes me feel like, oh, that's really horrible.
No, it's horrible. Like they've all, it's really good. Like talking about it again's made me want to rewatch it, I think. Just to definitely.
Everyone should watch it, and the theme tune.
Oh my
God.
I actually think it's the best theme tune that's ever been. Have you listened to, I think it's Pusha T has done a like a remix of it.
No.
Have you not listened to it?
I have not listened to it.
You are gonna thank me later. It's so good. You said how you used to run to the Succession.
I still run to it. I think it's absolutely amazing.
If you hear this Pusha T, it's so good, this remix that he does. But yeah, the theme tune's amazing. The opening, it's just so good. It's like the perfect. It's like the icing on the cake of an already really good.
I never skipped it once.
I would always. So many things. I'm like, right, I can't bear the Friends theme tune. I have to skip that.
Ding 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 ding.
Hate it.
Yeah.
I skip the Peep Show theme tune.
Yeah.
I skip Succession is part that theme tune is part
it's
of
HBO ones or whatever. I don't know what, but I don't skip the Sopranos theme. I don't skip
the Sopranos is good, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know The Wire, but no, maybe that's
like really good. Because with The Wire, it's the same song, but every series it's a new rendition of it.
Oh, I like that.
It's really good. But yeah, with the Succession one, it's just, and also even the opening, it shows like, I think it's like old footage, isn't it, of the family when they were supposedly young, and like them sort of growing up rich and like lots of it. It's already quite like, oh my god, that's horrible. That makes me uncomfortable. That like that upbringing. So like you already feel a bit set up, because then it's like him at the head of a table, and then the last bit is him at the head of his sort of board table now.
Yeah.
But from like the back. But yeah, and I always whenever I hear the theme tune, I like know the credits so well that bit when there's like a hit of notes where it shows it's like jump cutting of all the kids on top of an elephant.
Yes, like that bit is so good. Like I'm doing it wrong, but like it's done, and it's the rhythm of the opening titles and theme tune are so good. Like you say, never skip them. Never skip them.
No, I mean I thought the Line of Duty theme tune was good.
I still love that. Yeah. I really like the Line of Duty. So just before the end credits hit. So like just so you're still like in the final like scene or whatever, final moments of the episode, and it's like coming in, and then it slams. They're so good.
Yeah,
I've listened to the Line of Duty soundtrack on a run before.
Oh, that is another top one. That I've got that one. I have got normal shit as well, but I've got Succession, Line of Duty. I've got Duel of the Fates from Star Wars. That's a pretty good one. Do you know that one?
You've also got Thor. I can't ever say the name of the
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
That's a good one. But yeah, Movie themes
Yeah.
are quite good to run to sometimes.
Do you want to talk about any? Have you watched anything? What you've been watching as
I
well?
mean, everything. Me and Mike watched Borat, subsequent movie film.
Oh, did you? What did you think?
I think everyone should watch it. It's like, obviously, I mean, I think Sacha Baron Cohen's he does it well. What he does, he does well.
I watched a couple of clips from him. You know that TV series he did like kind of recently? I've forgotten what it's called.
Oh, This Is America, or
I think
America
so.
something, yeah.
Some of those I was like, because they were so shocking, like what he managed to get people to do. I was like, well, this is actually quite.
The
fact
worst
it's like
bit is the Rudy Giuliani bit. I don't know if you've heard people talk about.
Oh, I've heard, like, I've read about that being a thing.
And like, I don't want to. I mean, I think everyone, like, he basically. So the Borat film, the basis of the film is that he's going back to America because he wants to go and because he's ruined. That was it. I think it's a good setup. He's ruined the sort of reputation of Kazakhstan so badly that everyone in Kazakhstan hates him. So he gets sent on a mission to try and, like, make relations with America good. So he goes to America to try and give a present to someone like I think it's to Mike Pence. And it turns out, and then his daughter stows away with him, and so he goes, "Oh, I will give my daughter as present to Mike Pence." And so she's there, and then at the end of it, they end up sort of separating ways, and the daughter's had a big makeover, so she looks kind of like she's like very blonde and attractive, and she gets an interview because it turns out they can't get to Mike Pence, so then they go for Rudy Giuliani. She does an interview with him in the hotel room, and then there's a bit afterwards where they go into the room which has hidden cameras, and he like pats her on the butt, is like sit on down, is like, I mean, she is like kind of honey trapping the fuck out of him, but still he's like, and there's a bit where he lies down on the bed and it's kind of somewhat, you think he might be tucking his shirt in, but his hand goes all the way down like to his junk while he's trying to. Whoa. And it's just Rudy Giuliani has lost it. I swear he, like, when you hear him talking when he was like the mayor of New York, he seems somewhat like reasonable, but he seems absolutely gone now. And I don't get how people haven't kind of seen this and gone, why is he still?
I found just on the Rudy Giuliani thing, I watched that, I think it was like 3 parts. It was a documentary on Netflix about how the New York versus the mafia, and him being like instrumental in its takedown.
That's
and
what
stuff.
I find insane, is that he was in that, instrumental in the takedown of like the commission and that Fifth
City thing, which is very good. I really like that documentary.
Oh, that's what it's called.
But Trump was like a large part of, well, I mean, maybe this isn't fully, but he was basically a large part of that sort of scene because of his doing construction at the time. And now Rudy Giuliani, isn't he Trump's lawyer? And it's like, you fought all those years to try and take these people down, and now you're basically working for one of them.
Definitely.
But no, I would definitely watch.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'd be curious to rewatch Borat again, because I think when that came out, we were like, just because I can't. Because I'm like almost like was wondering, like, I didn't know if I could make my mind up on Sacha Baron Cohen, but I will watch, because a couple of people have mentioned the second one to me. That jogged my memory, actually, talking about, like, I was like, oh, I've not been watching it, I've just been still on my teen mum hype, etc. But last night, me and some friends over Zoom watched The Meg.
Oh, is it the big shark? The big shark.
Really good. Like, it was fun to watch with people because it was so rubbish, but it surpassed my expectations of how crap it would be. Jason Statham stars.
I thought it was The Rock for some reason.
Another bald guy. Doing an accent that I can't work out what it is. It would be like, it was kind of Australian, but it was just, anyway, it was rubbish. But it's got Dwight from the US Office in it. Like, it's
really,
yeah. It's no, it's like it is really bad. I think if you're going there though for like big sharks, like, you get your fill of big sharks, I guess.
Is there lots of good monstrous footage of a big old shark?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. I used to really like, did you ever, like, when you were younger, I liked looking up those, and they were always in the Walking with Dinosaurs books, you know, those diagrams that show
how
big the animal would be, and
Yes.
they put a little human next to it, and you're like,
that was
oh,
the
that is
best.
so
The
big.
scale, those scale things were the best bit of those books. I just like flicked through, being like, oh my god, that one is big. That one's even bigger. That one's even bigger.
And sometimes you'd look at one and go like, this one looks the shit, and then you'd see
Yeah.
that you were actually quite similar size to it.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm not. That's
dinosaur.
fine. Yeah, that's yeah.
I'll move on.
No, but yeah, no, it was good. It was like there was a big shark. It was really stupid though. They all seemed really. So it's Jason Statham. Oh, I'm genuinely not going to bore you with the plot because there really isn't much of one. But so it's a group of people. I think they've been set up as like a research facility, like marine biologists and stuff. But every time, so like people die, like people are eaten by the big shark, and honestly, it takes like they seem very unfazed. There's a weird moment at the end, like, well, yeah, they get over things really quickly. And they're like laughing and joking within like 10 minutes of someone being killed.
You got to stay positive.
There's a weird bit at the end though where they're all like sat on this boat, and like Jason Statham's just spoilers, but Jason Statham's just killed the big shark, and they're all back on like safe on the boat and stuff after a bit of time, and they're all like, they've all got mugs of like they were all like drinking out of mugs, like getting warm, and it was just very bizarre. I don't know, like, and it was like, I just can't, and it bothered me that like it was almost like, oh, the producers were like, oh, we've got this big box of mugs and enough for each member of the cast to have if we give it was stupid. I've not explained it very well.
What were they drinking?
I don't know. Probably, I think the idea was like, oh, warming up with like a hot cocoa after a shark attack. Like it, like.
That's what they give to people. Like, you know that guy, the guy on the beach, when he's in the tent and he's been bitten to shit by a shark, no one gave him a cup of cocoa.
No, and he would have been fine apparently afterwards. But it was stupid, but it was entertaining for how stupid it was.
Right. Surely a big shark, like you say they ate people. Surely if a big meg ate a person, it'd be like a peanut to them.
Yeah, that was raised while we were watching yesterday, that what a shark wouldn't go for. Like there was a bit as well where like a little tiny dog like jumped off a boat and was like swimming towards the meg, and it was like coming close, and I was like, that shark wouldn't like go for that dog. Like that's a
grain of salt.
Like that's it's like, and like the shark going for like to this bit, and I'm like, they won't care. Like people, they want like a big boat or something. They want like, I don't know. It was.
They should have put the effort into making the shark an enormous sandwich.
Yeah.
It might have wanted, or whatever shark.
Giving it some of that cocoa or something. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it was stupid.
Wow. Been good talking about Succession. I forgot how much I was. I
forgot how much I enjoyed it.
We're not sure what we're going to do next, because we have been talking about, as opposed to recommendations, because
I think we've all just watched everything now. We were possibly just going to do things that we've rewatched in lockdown and really, really love.
So there has been talk of Peep Show or Line of Duty, but yeah, we're not sure what we'll do next time.
Watch this space.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Was that a Peep Show thing?
Yes.
Oh, because Jez wants to come too. He's excited.
He's excited.